Well, hello, welcome to Talk Dice, hi mate, and we've got Alan back. Hello,
Good
Alan.
evening, good afternoon, and good morning.
Yes, all of those, and yep, sorely missed the past couple of weeks due to holidays and work, but you're back with us. How's your week been?
Hectic.
I bet.
Um, yeah, it's been very busy. Lots and lots of things going on. The I've kind of teased this a little bit in a couple of places, but as GMS, we have a bit of an announcement to make, which is that we've landed a distribution deal with Goodman Games, which we're
Brilliant.
really stoked about. So, Dungeon Crawl Classics, X Crawl Classics, all of their outstanding 5e material and things like that. So that's great. What's not great is that it's dropped. So our opening stock transfer from them is 75 or 76 lines, all of which have got to be put onto our website and made ready for sale. So that's my job. And that's why I wasn't around last week. It's why I have taken a break today, because if I look at another item on another website, I think I'm going to go insane. But yeah, Goodman Games, that's super
Brilliant.
excited.
Yeah, very much so. They are, I would go so far as to say legendary. I must admit, I do like their fifth edition stuff, and their take on their old classics that are, the Isle of Dread, etc. So well pleased with the way they've
Mhm.
turned out Temple Elemental Evil, etc. They've really done a number on them.
Yeah.
So that's going to be quite exciting. On Saturday, if you want to get something, because Saturday obviously is the post to advertise things. If you've got something you want to get over to me, then I know you're probably going to be busy on Saturday. I'll gladly get it banged up there and do a post
You
because
will be the first person to know once it's all ready.
fantastic. Well, we'll get it up there, and it's going to be a bonus for any UK, Europe as well, on the distribution side. Any UK and European gamers who are into Goodman Games, amongst others. So that's an absolute bonus. Brilliant.
Mhm.
Looking forward
And
to hearing more.
then a little bit of news that I found today, and the gentleman's name has slipped my mind, but you will know. The guy that designed the special dice to go with it, is it Zocchi or
Mr.
something like
Zocchi,
that?
do
Zocchi,
you know? Yeah,
with his
Dad.
D3 and his D24 and all
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what they actually call them, isn't it? The Zocchi dice,
yeah.
Zocchi dice.
Well,
So
I wrote to him. I think stuck something up on the Facebook page actually. Now this is going back. It would have been in the 70s. I picked up a set of Zocchi dice, and up to that point, I'd only had the ones that came with the D&D sets, so the basic
right,
set, the original set, and
yeah,
they
yeah,
were quite poor. They ended up. I've got one actually sat in the box not too far from me, still one of the original dice, but they
yeah.
to hell.
I've got a
Anyway,
set here. I've got not Zocchi, but I've got my original D12, my original D10. This is all out of my red box D&D set.
oh yeah,
I've got the D8 and the D6 and the D4 all here. Um, but the D20 actually lives in my other dice set that I use when I go out and play.
great.
Because it's really good at rolling 20s. So when I badly need a 20,
That's the one that comes.
my original D&D D20 comes out. Love it.
They are great, but I got this set of dice from Zocchi. It was I'd purchased them in Preston actually, a little shop in Preston that did the dice,
Mhm.
and I wrote him a letter because I was a young teenager and I was that impressed with them. They were absolutely lovely. They were just a basic solid color. They didn't do any daft silly dice at that time. And yeah, I ended up getting a samples box from him, a lovely letter back
Oh,
saying thank you
nice.
very much, and a samples box with all sorts of different dice and things in, including a D3 and a D4, which was a D8, but number one to
Yeah,
four.
yeah, yeah.
That was a bit usual rather than the usual caltrop dice that usually killed you at three
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning when you were heading to the bathroom. So yeah, he was from my side, a lovely man, and his dice were excellent. And I've still got some Zocchi dice, quite a few Zocchi dice in my collection, which I do bring out from time to time. So sad loss, but what a thing he did for gamers.
Yeah, there's a good group up there now, isn't there?
There is having some great
Gygax
games.
sat at the top of the table with some great names sat around.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, I got my first pointy dice, as I call them, from the hard resin with the pointy edges from Zocchi. That came from there as well. But yeah, the sad loss was the gent. Yeah, another one gone, unfortunately.
Yeah, but made an impact. So
very much so.
It'll always be remembered. I think every time somebody rolls one of those D30s or something, it's little homage. So anyway,
so we'll have to get a section with these with his Alpengard and his D30. I bet that must be a Zocchi dice he's using there. Anyway, we'll leave that for. We've got some new releases, I believe.
A few things to talk about. Trying to calm it down a tiny bit, to be fair, because we've got that many things in the pipeline. What I'm going to focus on a little bit, not necessarily just purely from a GMS point of view, but really just a bit of a focus on Paizo, because their May releases are largely based at beginning players, or at least beginning to Pathfinder or Starfinder, which I think is really good. So there's a new starter set coming out for Pathfinder, and it's called Secrets of the Unlit Star beginner box. It's got a price point of 50 quid. Now some people are going to sell that cheaper, but the MSRP is 50 quid. Sounds a bit steep, but you get a 72-page player book and an 88-page GM's guide, which includes 20 pages of monsters and opening adventures and all that. You get your dice, you get 100 character and monster pawns, everything that you need. And I think it's a bit reminiscent of the Castles and Crusades one, where the Castles and Crusades starter set isn't just a case of you getting an introductory adventure.
No, it's
and
good.
Once you've played it, that's that. You can take characters all the way up to 6th level with the Castles and Crusades one. And I think the Paizo one is the same. I have to hold my hands up and say I've not had my mitts on it, purely because there's been a minor shipping error, and whilst the pallet is on the move now, it has been delayed by a few days for one reason or another. So I haven't seen them. One of the reasons I had a manic week was because I was at the warehouse on Saturday where we were doing a big reorganisation of everything. So I was hoping to be able to have a look at one then, but I didn't get my mitts on one. But that new starter set, I think, is bound to do really, really well.
Well, we've got a picture of it that'll be coming up here, and it looks very, very meaty. That's one big, thick box full of goodie.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in it: maps, pawns, reference sheets, character reference sheets, things like that. The really interesting thing is the adventure. It's got a solo adventure so in the player's book, there's an adventure, intro adventure that you can just play through yourself as you read it. And then the GM gets an introductory adventure as well, which segues nicely, both for the purposes of this video and for the game, segues nicely into the next Paizo thing for May, which is Troubles in Grace. That's Grayce, which is a town in the Golarian setting, the Lost Omens, what have you, all of that setting. And Troubles in Grace is an anthology of low-level adventures, which you can just take as standalones, or you can actually run it as a mini campaign for lower level characters. So again, it's great for the introductory side of things, great for bringing new players into Pathfinder or the hobby in general. That's got standard and special editions priced at £38 and £55 respectively. A whole bunch of adventures. If you play once a week, you've probably got 3, 4, maybe a few more months worth of adventuring in that one book. So that's great. And then there's a very similar thing coming for Starfinder, which is Tales from the Vast. Same price point, 38 and £55 for the standard and the special edition books, and it's an anthology of lower level, first to fifth, I think it is, level adventures
Yeah.
for Starfinder. So very much kind of geared. The whole release schedule for May seems to be very much kind of geared towards players who are either new to role playing or at least new to Paizo products.
Right.
And then they've got a product which I think is brilliant. I've seen it done with Savage Worlds quite a lot, and they do it for different settings and things within Savage Worlds. Is the condition cards. So when a character is stunned or prone or what have you, the GM can hand out a card, and that player has got the rules there. They don't need to go in the book. It tells them exactly what is affecting their character and how that condition is affecting their character. I think they're brilliant little table aids. I use them myself when I run Savage Worlds. So I think things like that are great. Just a nice little player aid. That's 110 cards for if you're a Pathfinder GM. And I dare say, I don't know for certain, but I dare say you could probably use those condition cards. They are a Starfinder product. I dare say you could use them with Pathfinder. I'm sure there's somebody out there. Please comment if you know differently. I'm pretty sure you could probably use them across both games.
Well, Paizo championed the use of cards back in the day. We're talking
Yes.
in the days of 3.5.
Yeah, game mastery.
Yeah. And I ended up with so many different packs of cards. I've still got quite a few of the Games Mastery. The Magic Items one that they did was absolutely fantastic because, again, as you said, you just give the card to the player, and it's got a place on the back for them to scribble on, and it was a dry wipe thing. So whatever the sword happened to be, I ended up sort of telling them, I bought several boxes of them and just said, right, you're not going to be getting a magic sword every day of the week. Just write it on there, and that's name your sword. That's it. And it works so well. And they literally treasured those treasure cards. So winner.
Yeah, I think they're a brilliant little table aid. I love little things like that.
Yeah.
They're fantastic for cons when you've got players where they might not be familiar with that rule set and things like that, which is one of the reasons why I love running Savage Worlds at conventions. Is it's really easy to just hand out a card, or you don't need the rule book. It's just all there.
Yeah.
For a GM, great stuff. So that's Paizo for May. So those GMS hat on. 6th of May release. We've actually got those for pre-order on our website at the moment. If you order them, they will be dispatched to reach you on the release day.
Fantastic.
If that kind of thing is yours. The other one I'm going to briefly talk about is Adventurer's Backpack for Castles and Crusades, which I'm really, I can't wait to get my hands on that.
Yes.
The stock is there at the warehouse. I was this close to actually pinching one when I was down there at the weekend, but I thought, no, I'm not going to do that because we still have to deliver them to Kickstarter backers. So the Kickstarter fulfillment for Adventurer's Backpack for Trollord Games, for Castles and Crusades rather, will start tomorrow and Thursday. There's not a huge number, but they will go out, and then Adventurer's Backpack will be available to buy with GMS. And I know that there are some game stores that we work with who will definitely pick up Adventurer's Backpack, and that is 20 extra classes for Castles and Crusades. So I think what it is, a lot of it is it's kind of what would be in D&D and other things would be like a subclass. So you've got stuff like the Warlock division of a mage, you've got blade dancers, you've got archers, and numerous others, and they all go up to 24th level as well. So a lot of information and new classes and things.
There is. I'm going to throw this in there as well, because with 5th edition, if you play it cannily, you can actually use Castles and Crusades info such as that to build your classes. So it doesn't take that much to actually sort of do, and you can use it, or I've used it to customize 5th edition or 5.5 classes. So there we go.
Yeah, I mean, the original Adventurer's Backpack was a very, very popular book.
Yeah.
And this is the reforged one.
Yes.
So so we don't have any of the OGL terminology and that kind of stuff in the book. that doesn't stop it from working with D&D at all.
No.
But it's a brand new version. There's some slightly different character classes, and then of course the other thing that they do is a kind of select it and write it down equipment list.
Which is brilliant. Yeah, that saves a
So
lot of time.
it's like this equipment list will cost you this much gold. Pay the gold. You have this. This is your equipment done. You don't need to spend ages flicking backwards and forwards through multiple books and things like that. So if you need
How
a
much is
character
that?
in a
50
hurry,
foot of rope and 10-foot pole. Yeah,
10-foot pole, some spikes and a hammer.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
no, it's really good the way they actually do it. I always look at the backpack as I refer to it as the Unearthed Arcana,
Yes.
which is what it essentially is.
Mm-hmm.
Classic. It's a classic support book, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Not essential, but you really want it.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't wait. Again, can't wait to get my grubby paws on one of those.
Brilliant.
So that's us for now. But like I said, there's so much stuff in the pipeline, so much cool stuff to tell people about over the coming weeks.
Right. We'll get something rolled out on there because it will be of extreme interest to the people watching this and also the people on the Facebook group as well, especially the Goodman Games stuff. That's again absolute pure class.
Yeah, I can't wait to get that out.
Well, talking about, I mentioned there about rules and the mixing and special. So, do rules actually matter? That's the question that seems to have been coming up quite a few times recently. That we've seen on the page there. Does it really matter what rules you're using? Does it matter what you mix and match? Rules light, rules heavy. If the group's actually enjoying it, does it really matter how close to the actual rules you actually sort of stick? So there's a thought to throw at. I was hoping we're going to have a couple of others joining us, but due to real life issues, it's only just us today to talk about it. But there's something to throw out into the mist. And if anyone wants to comment as well about it, do so. So what is your go-to rule set? Would it be Savage Worlds?
Yeah. I love Castles and Crusades, but I've not run it enough to just be able to say, right, I'm going to use this rule set.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Castles and Crusades, you also have Amazing Adventures, which is the generic form of the Siege engine.
Yeah.
But for me, as well, yeah, you're correct. The go-to for me is always going to be Savage Worlds.
Yeah.
It was Palladium for quite a long time because there's so much source material as to, you know, if you want martial artists, there was a game for it. If you want mutants or superpowers or fantasy, you know, there was a game for it, all within the same rule system. But I have a deep-seated love for the Palladium role-playing game, but I think Savage Worlds is a better game. If I'm honest, and it's so flexible.
Yeah, it's for me the best version was the Explorers edition. That little paperback book that you could actually get. Now, not knocking the modern one. The modern one is absolutely brilliant. But the price point of the original little paperback, which cost me, I think it was $7.99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was about £8. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just I used to buy them and give them to players. Other, people, and we had so much fun.
And then when it fell apart, it only cost you £8 to buy another one.
Exactly, that's it. But you know what? It was that well put together. I think I only had one drop to bits on me. And I did a series of games with Chris Hilton, actually.
Right.
And we took turns GMing, and we made it. We used the Pirates thing supplement for it, Pirates of Spanish Main.
Right, okay.
We always made it so that we'd end on a high and then the other person had to take over no matter which direction it had actually gone. And then you had to come back next week and the other person had to sort of carry on telling the story. And we had so much fun with that system. And Deadlands as well played that with it. Rippers, you just name it. So much fun with it. Lankmar, more recently.
My first encounter with Savage Worlds was War of the Dead.
Yeah.
I think it was called War of the Dead. I say it
Yes.
started on, it was a zombie apocalypse thing that
Fantasy
started
Flight
where
Games. Yeah.
you started on a cruise ship. And then I'm sure it was called War of the Dead. Somebody can correct me on that one, please do.
I think you're right on that one. Is yeah,
But
and I think it was
it
Fantasy
was
Flight Games that did that one, wasn't
such a good game.
it?
I really enjoyed the campaign. The GM who introduced me to Savage Worlds was a very, very good GM. Old, long-standing friend of mine, known for 40 years. And yeah, literally walks in one day and says, "Right, we're going to play this. I've got this new game." Um, and honestly, I've never looked back. So going back to the topic, do
Yeah,
rules matter? I think you made a very good comment. That is, if everybody's enjoying it, then the rules matter as long as they are fair both ways. The most important thing is consistency.
yeah,
If you make a ruling on something that's not rules as written, then you either need to come back a day later or at the next session and say, I didn't do that right, we're not going to change anything, I didn't do that right, but in the future here's how it works. Or you say, this is what I should have done, but what we did was better.
yes.
So it's interesting actually, because Stephen put a comment up in the group earlier on about mass combat and trying to do mass combat
I
quickly,
saw this.
and
Yeah,
a lot of people have commented on it, and including myself, and I used it for a big battle in Section D, where we had 30 or 40 combatants on either side, and it was a firefight. And the way I did it was just simply that you roll dice for that particular unit, and if we role played out what the leader of that unit was going to do. So the player characters were leading each particular unit. They would role play out what they were going to do, how they were going to move their troops, flanking, whatever it may be. So we gave them modifiers. They make Savage Worlds as a shooting roll. You have a target number of 4, and then for every success and raise after that, then one more of the enemy was taken out, and the whole thing flowed really nicely. There are mass combat rules for Savage Worlds, but I made that up on the spot because I didn't see any need for anything that was really complicated.
oh, that's
Um,
it.
and it brought the role playing element into it and things like that. And that's not to say that the mass combat rules of Savage Worlds aren't good, because they are. But in that particular case, it was the mantra: fast, furious, fun.
Yeah,
Everybody bought into it, and it worked. Worked an
yeah.
absolute treat. Um,
Go with it completely. That it's again with D&D, you had the battle system, and I found that just really, really started dragging things down and out. So
mhm,
we came up with there was a big combat that we did, 5 players, me basically the DM, and we had each of the players running a tactical group and controlling there. So they'd gone to different parts of the battlefield and we're controlling parts of the army and we're making rolls on behalf of them. And 3 of them were doing really, really well. 2 of them were getting absolutely battered and losing their troops left, right, and centre because they were being hit from all sides. And it worked really, really well. If we'd have started using the battle system, it would have gone to pot. It would
mhm.
have gone so slowly. But yeah, very quick turn, roll the dice, roll initiative, roll your damage, what you're doing. Okay, what's your next step going to be? Right, okay. And then resolving what was going to be the outcome of that particular attempt at moving on the battlefield. And it worked
Mhm.
really well. So, yeah, definitely go
Yeah.
on that. So, rules
But
do matter, but it's again, I think you hit it with the consistency. Make sure that it stays consistent throughout. And if you do
mm,
your own thing, then keep on doing your own thing and make sure that you carry on doing it the next time. Or as you sort of said, you step back and go, well, actually, do you know what? I didn't do it right. We'll do it this way going forward.
yeah, and the other thing I'm going to say on this is I think that rules matter more if you are less experienced as a GM,
Yes. Yeah.
because you they're your crutch.
Yeah.
If you you need to control that group. You need to keep things flowing. That's one of the most important things in any RPG session.
Yeah,
Is that you just keep that flow going, and you've not got people sitting for, I think if somebody sits at an RPG session for more than 4 or 5 minutes and doesn't do anything or have any involvement, you run a serious risk of losing that table.
definitely.
And the phones come out and things like that. So it's important, and the rules help with that. But for more experienced GMs, or the better you know your particular rule system, the easier it is to just do something that works.
Yeah.
And I think what was it that Gary Gygax said? Rulings over rules.
Yes, that's
So make it work and move on.
Dungeon Master's Guide. It's a guide. It's
Yes.
not set in stone. And it should be the same for every game. It's all about storytelling, shared storytelling. And it has been around my group my table for years. Initially, I was a bit anal, I must admit. But that's what you do. It's like a 12-year-old. Well, you can't do that. It doesn't say you can do that in the rules. So it's not.
I think it's important, though, that a game master does have an appreciation of the rules to make sure that players aren't going beyond the ability of their character
as well.
So you do have to be, can I use the word ballsy enough as a GM? You do have to be ballsy enough to turn around to a player and say, you can't do that.
No,
your character doesn't have the skill, or what have you. Or yes, you can try that, but you're rolling a D20 at -25. Crack on.
Yeah.
But so do rules matter to a point? Yes, but I very much go rulings over rules anytime. Keep the flow.
Right. Well, there we go. That's it then. So yeah, they do, and we've got an outcome there. I'll tell you, next week we'll actually discuss fantasy and science fiction novels. What the influences have been. We'll try and get some people on and have a chat about that as well. Keep the discussions going.
Yeah.
Well,
look forward to it.
Definitely. Well, hasn't the time passed very quickly? Well, it looks like it's that time of the night again where we end up saying goodbye. We've got a new LARP video from Stephen Cowley coming out. That's
awesome.
Premiering tomorrow as we're recording this. So this recording will be coming out after Stephen's. So we'll probably get this one out maybe Thursday. Crossed.
I'm looking into, by the way, we're getting ready for Games Expo.
Yes.
Obviously, it's not far away. I'm looking into doing a time-lapse video of setting up the stand.
That would be
so
brilliant.
I'm going to take a tripod and I'm going to stick my phone at one corner or something, and I'm just going to show what goes on setup day at UK Games Expo. I'm going to try.
Scare people.
I'm not making a promise, but I'm going to try and see if we can do a time-lapse video of putting that stand together. So I think that'd be quite good fun.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you on the Saturday as well. I know you're going to be very busy, but I will drop by, say hi.
Oh, it's going to be great. Looking forward to it so much.
Well, I'm going to try and set up a UK tabletop role-playing Facebook group, Gather, and possibly if we make it the GMS stand, because it's just handy to. You're going to be. It's huge. I know that what you're going to be there, so it'll be a good place to sort of go and, I suppose, bomb at 2:00 in the afternoon or something like that.
Have a UKGE flash mob.
That's it. Yeah,
gamers.
That's the way to actually do it. Everyone congregating there. We'll have to make sure that other people can get by and actually purchase things from you as well. But we'll see about doing that. I'll see about getting that sorted and begun to be looked at next couple of weeks, because we're getting close now.
Too close. Yeah. Scary close. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Lots to do. Right.
Well, on that note, it's goodbye from him. So there we go.
It's goodbye from him
as well. Goodbye.
Keep rolling, guys.
Bye.